What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I appreciate you stopping by, spending a few minutes of your time here with me today. Today is Friday. We've closed out yet another week. I hope you had a good week, a profitable week. I hope you stuck to your strategy, your plan, and your rules. Okay. And if you didn't, don't be too hard on yourself. There's always going to be another setup just around the corner, just around the river bend. You get what I'm saying? So, just like this slide says, we are looking for the same shit over and over and over again. And so today I want to show you the two cleanest charts from my watch list. All right. And the sad thing about it is I didn't trade either one of these things. I was humbled today, and I'll show you the trades that I took. Okay. But I was humbled today. I knew better. I should have just stayed away from the screens today. I woke up in extreme pain. I went to bed. My back was kind of hurting, but when I woke up, it was extremely bad. I barely could get out of bed, but I still forced my way to the screens. I locked in on DJ 30, tunnel visioned it, started forcing some things. Okay. I still came out green. Okay. I still made money on the day, but I missed the easiest opportunities of the week. And that's what we're going to look at. All right. So we're going to start off with gold. All right. Now, when gold gives us a well-engineered chart, it follows this master pattern so nicely, so cleanly, so precisely. You know what I mean? This is all you really need to be looking for on a daily basis, whether we're looking for a 3-session setup, right, on day 3, or we're looking for a session scalp. It's always going to be there if we have a well-engineered chart. All right. So you can see yesterday, Thursday, we had a close in breakout signal day. All right. We closed in breakout to the upside. Okay. So Thursday broke Wednesday's high and closed above Wednesday's high, as evidenced on this chart. Right? This little red line, this is Wednesday's high. So we are above that. We close in breakout. That's our signal day. Okay. Now, if we close in breakout to the upside, right, we got a higher close on Thursday than the open. So we're seeing higher prices. We might assume that the next day will also give us higher prices. If that's the case, if we're looking for a higher close on Friday, ideally what I would want to see is this market dump down below the previous day's closing price and reverse in a session window, okay, to go higher to give us that higher close. Now, I drew this out. I posted it in the Discord, okay, and I'm not saying that to brag. I'm saying that's how simple it is. Once you know what you're looking for, once you understand that there's only 2 templates, okay? We're either looking for a pump and dump or a dump and pump. And once you understand that, you are looking for the same shit over and over and over again. No matter what day it is, no matter what session it is, you're always looking for the same things. Okay. So you're automatically prepared when you go to your charts to trade. You already know what you're looking to see. And if it's not there, you don't take the trade. Okay. That is your best filter. Okay. So now you can see here that we put in a peak formation high in the Tokyo session, and then we started to dump down. That Tokyo session high, that high of the day level, once we start to dump down, automatically in my head, I'm thinking, there's our target. There's our potential anchor point of a dump and pump template, right? So now that's my step 1. I'm waiting to see a peak formation low locked in place. And we get that locked in place early in the day, throughout the London session, New York session gap time. We put in this nice triple bottom pattern here. Okay, we had the double top, the triple bottom. We just went over this stuff in that mastering peak formations video, right? So we're putting all of that information to good use here today on Friday. All right. Then you can see just before the New York session, we have a higher high on the inside right here. Okay. So if we're in a potential dump and pump template, after we put in this peak formation high and we start dumping down, okay, When we're on the way down, we're on the front side of this dump and pump template. And while we're on the front side, we're going to be looking for pump and dump opportunities in the session that we're trading, right? So you can see, for example, let's zoom in right here. We have a pump into that EMA, coiling sideways, and we break down to continue the lower prices. Then here we pump up and dump, okay? We're looking for pump and dump scenarios in our session, right? But once we get this higher high on the inside put in place, that higher high is our sort of signal, right? Letting us know that we may now be on the backside of this dump and pump template. And while we're on the backside and we're putting in higher highs now, we're looking for dump and pump scenarios in our session, okay? So we're in this large dump and pump, and we'll be looking for a dump and pump opportunity heading into our trading session. Okay. So when we zoom in here just before the session, all right, you can see that right around 8:30, we've put in that higher high on the inside and we've started to dump back down. Okay. Then we're coiling sideways going into that 9:30 open. All right. You can see we have this sort of micro W pattern down here. All right. We're coiling sideways. Right at 9:30, this market explodes, takes out this higher high on the inside and continues to our original target, which was the Tokyo highs, and through that, right? Through the high of Thursday. So you can see we get our dump and pump template going into the session. So we have this larger dump and pump on the day, and then the micro version of this pattern going into the session, right? But you can see it's basically the same thing. The market is fractal, right? On a well-engineered chart, this is what you're going to see, right? We have potential entry levels here as we break that middle structure of that W, or we break the high of this sort of consolidation area. You could be entering in anywhere here, okay? Going forward, I'm going to be sort of practicing entering in these coils before we go parabolic, right? And then we had another opportunity to add in. We have an even more micro dump and pump pattern right here, right? We've pumped up back to that level, dumped down, coil sideways into that EMA, engulf to the upside. You could be adding in to your position here, okay? Or maybe taking a more conservative entry. But look how clean this chart is. That is a well-engineered chart. That's what you're looking for, okay, on a daily basis. Now here, we're moving on to the Canadian dollar Swiss franc currency pair, okay? And you can see that we have a pattern that's taking place over the course of, a day and a half, 2 days, whatever you want to call it, all right? But you can see that the previous day has, Thursday has broken Wednesday's low, and then close back inside of this range, okay? But when I see this low is put in place and we start pumping up, automatically I'm thinking to myself, okay, I have a potential anchor point here for a pump and dump template, all right? So we start pumping up from there. After that peak formation low is identified, okay, I project it across as a potential target. Now I know I'm looking for step 2 of the template, which is a peak formation high. And we get that here in the London session, right? The London session dumps down, locks in that peak formation high, and puts in our lower low on the inside, right? So everything here, while we're putting in these higher highs, that's our front side of the pump and dump. And while we're on the front side of a pump and dump, we are looking for dump and pump scenarios in the session that we're trading, right? We did not really get any clean opportunities, but you can see here in Tokyo, or right in the beginning of the day, we have the dump and pump, okay? And then right here in that gap time, another dump and pump while we put in higher highs, okay? But as soon as we identify this lower low on the inside, that's our signal that's letting us know now we're potentially on the backside of this dump and pump opportunity, right? This template. So while we're on the backside, we're making lower lows. We are looking for a pump and dump scenario in the session that we're trading, okay? So again, we're in this large pattern just like we were on gold. And if we zoom in, you can see going into the session, we have the micro version of the template of the pump, coil, and dump template. All right. Right here, right around 8:15, 8:20-ish, we put in a peak formation low and start to pump. Okay. So we're pumping up heading into that 9:30 opening window. 9:30, 9:45 sort of locks in that peak formation high. So now we have our peak formation low, peak formation high. If we zoom in here, this big candle down, there's our lower low on the inside. It's our lower low on the inside because we have broke these levels right here. While we're putting in higher highs, these lows should hold. You can see how these levels are holding on the way up. Okay, even here. And then here, suddenly we are breaking levels. As soon as that happens, we're looking for a pump and dump opportunity to get into this market. And you can see it's a real quick, type of movement, but we do pump up, coil into that EMA and dump. We would be getting in this market anywhere in this area, okay? While we break this sort of death line here, okay? For a very nice, easy parabolic trade from high of day to low of day, okay? We don't quite take out this target over here, all right? But if you are close to your target and the market starts looking like it's turning against you, we're getting reversal signals down here at the low of the day, all right? You can start thinking about exiting your trade, all right? So again, look at how clean and well engineered these charts are. All right. And somehow I was able to miss this because I was tunneled in on DJ. All right. And so here is the trades I took on the DJ 30. All right. I took this long trade. I wasn't there right on time to really get in there. But in hindsight, the ideal entry was down here in this coil, right when we were breaking that EMA, right, to go long. But I saw us take out these levels right here and reverse. So I thought, okay, whatever, we're going to just keep going higher, I guess. So I just entered the market all willy-nilly like, okay? And I had to take that loss. I wasn't able to close it at break even. I took the loss of 20 pips on that trade. I could have closed it anywhere up here, but I just let it run its course and I got stopped out. So what did I do? Well, this looks pretty good to me for a short trade. So I flipped my bias. I got in. I took this trade and I was able to capture 50 pips in profit, all right, which offset my earlier loss, but I got to market a red day. You know what I'm saying? I slipped up. I was too tunnel visioned in on the DJ 30. Even though I made money, I really didn't stick to the process. I didn't stick to my rules. You know what I'm saying? So I've got to market a red day. I'm glad that I still made a little bit of money. But at the end of the day, it's about process over profits, okay? We've got to lock in the consistency. So that's my bad, but it was a valuable sort of lesson on the day. You know what I'm saying? The market, it's got a way of humbling you. You know what I'm saying? And that's exactly what happened to me, especially when I saw how clean these charts were later on, right? Before I decided to make this video. So let that be a lesson to you. Don't do what I did. Just remember, we're looking for the same things every single day. But here and there, you might make a mistake. You can't beat yourself up about it. You got to take your licks and just keep on moving. You know what I'm saying? Make some adjustments. So going forward, I'm personally, my goal for this weekend, I'm going to be looking back on these charts and inspecting my entries, right? And where I can secure better entries, how I can enter in these consolidations rather than trying to wait for the break of these levels and stuff like that, which to me is a safe and conservative entry. But it would be better if I could be more precise, right? And at the end of the day, once you know what you're looking for, it's all about how good can you get at executing your setup when you see it present on the charts, right? So I appreciate y'all being here. I hope that you get something of value out of this video. If you did, please press the like button, hit the subscribe button. It's free. And until next time, I hope you continue to free your mind.